Hello, Ned Hewlett here with a Burn and Learn. Notice I didn't say another Burn and Learn because it has been so freaking long since I've done the last one. I feel, oh God, it's just like stuff just keeps coming up and I go like, I've got to do this. This must be done now. My total emergency, like reaction based planning. We're basically just like, oh, fire, put it out. That has led to sort of the end of the day and me on a couch with a bag of Cadbury eggs and not on the torture device the way I should be. So I'm back. I feel very, very good about that. In fact, I'm a little low on blood sugar right now because I didn't eat breakfast because I'm going to meet my friend Jake, director, writer extraordinaire, for a nice Irish fry-up breakfast in Toronto. So I thought I'd hold off on the big eggy breakfast until later. So I probably won't make a lot of sense. So a few things. So first of all, the learn part of the Burn and Learn, back on surveillance capitalism, which is, I'm irritated that I haven't read it between exercises, but talking about the idea that empathy is both a positive and a negative when it comes to online activities, because the idea that people who are empathetic, who really, engage with other people's emotions and stuff, are much more susceptible to advertising online, which is just like, oh my God, I teach my kid empathy so that these bloody companies can sell to them. That's terrible. And also how this constant quest for more data has led them to things like Pokémon Go, which at the time I knew they were, of course they're tracking, of course they're keeping this information, but just to have it sort of just spelled out so beautifully, where they're saying like, it's not about getting enough data about you. You have to know, not just be able to predict where people are going to go, but make them go there. Pokemon Go, perfect example. Put a big, plump, rare Pokemon off in a corner by a hamburger shack, and you know that those hamburgers are going to sell. I mean, it is absolutely brilliant. I'm somewhat awed and respectful of what they've done, but at the same time, it's a little terrifying that my child and I are being herded around the world by a digital device. My big sort of push for them when it happened was like, yeah, whatever. They can get all the data they want. I've got my kid outside. I'm going for long walks with my child. We are seeing, points of interest, surprising number of churches. We had just a blast with it. I loved it. But again, it's, at what cost? So I thought that was very interesting. They also talked about the fact that Facebook have been nailed for data after data after data experiments. Data after data after data, day after day, whatever it is. They've been nailed for a number of experiments that involved, millions of users that were unaware as they just decided to sort of experiment with a few things here. Oh, what if we give them all happy news today? Or what if we give them all sad news today? Oh, look what that does. And just trying to manipulate their user base into buying things, which is, again, obviously that's what they have to do. That's how the entire business is based on that. But where does this stop? There was another leak about an Australian reporter had found this internal document about how Facebook were targeting teenagers and the mood swings of teenagers and figuring out the exact tipping point to hit them with an ad or to hit them with something inspirational to get them to go somewhere or do something. I mean, it feels kind of wrong there. I mean, oh my God, maybe she's pulling me over to her conspiracy side of things, but just felt a bit wrong. I've always felt weird about Facebook. Like I've only ever really used Facebook as a sort of a promotional thing, like a social media thing, and not very effectively. And the odd time I've had connections with people who, family members and stuff, and it's been a great experience. It's lovely to catch up with people you just forgotten about, or just in the confusion of daily life you lose track of. But there always felt something really weird about this sort of monetization of my emotional and private personal life. So something weird there. I don't know. I've always felt a little uneasy about it. I feel now much more uneasy about it, and I'm very concerned about how much time Bratlett spends on Instagram and the number of times I have to go, hey, dude, no, just facing the phone, as I say, facing the phone. So just things to think about. I found this stuff. Weirdly familiar, like I knew it was happening, but to have it laid out like that was really quite startling. And now onto some kind of interesting stuff. Not that wasn't interesting. Tech terrors. I've got this evil genius plan. I think we should create a makerspace, have a few kids in at a time. I can create some inspiration, curiosity catalysts like I do with my tech terrors at school, and we film the process. We make like almost like a little reality show about running this space, working with various kids, and just use that to look. If you guys could get 1/1,000,000th of the joy that I get out of watching these things sort of click with kids, and seeing them switch over to the dark side with technology, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math stuff. I think it would be fantastic. I would want to watch it. Hell, I wish I was out there. It was out there now. I could use it as examples. So I would love to do that. And then I started thinking about funding, and then I thought, wait, so what's a good Stargate tying here? What if we took Stargate episodes? I could do the commentaries, and maybe that could be like a reward for people. But what if we took Stargate episodes and pulled some kind of real science out of it, like my amazing TVO folks did with Doctor Who? Like, what if we took like The Game episode of Atlantis and then used that to talk about virtual reality and have kids build some 3D stuff, do some 3D design, do some world building of their own. I just feel like it doesn't have to be it can be a pretty loose connection to the story, but I love the idea of it being inspired by the episodes, because then it sort of just ties the learning to in with you guys as well. So because I want everyone to get something out of it, not just the kids and me. Although me is really all I'm worried about. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that. You guys know the episodes way better than I do, so I would love to hear any kind of ways of connecting real world technology and science, technology, engineering, arts, and math stuff, using anything from these episodes as a catalyst for that stuff for kids, that we could put together in a makerspace of some sort. So if you've got any ideas, that'd be fantastic. I will certainly give you credit for anything you come up with. That would be fantastic. And then lastly, I've kind of been holding off on conventions for a long time. I feel like the show's been off the air for a long time. It just started feeling a little too money driven, shall we say, for me, and it was beginning to feel a little icky, shall we say. So I've sort of held off doing them. Recently, I was approached about another event that my son and my wife have persuaded me that we should do, and I think, and I'm very happy. Look, I'm always happy to see people. I just feel like I see people in the real world all the time, and I talk to them and online, and I feel like I have a lot of contact with the sort of the Stargate audiences out there. Anyways, I didn't feel the need to do the actual sort of meet and greets and all that kind of stuff, which I know can mean a lot to people, and I feel bad that it's not a huge priority for me, but they're on weekends, which is when I get my kid. Not when I get my kid, but that's when I have my slightly less divided attention kid. I do get them all week as well, I suppose, but the weekend is our time. Like, that's our kick back and watch manga, animation stuff, and play video games and things. So important time for me. So but this would be a very different situation, and I'm very, very happy that they've talked me into this. So you'll hear about that soon, I'm sure. And now I better go because I haven't eaten breakfast, as you can probably tell by the fact that I make very little sense. That low blood sugar thing, never good with a McKay. So I just had like a piece of toast to keep me going because I'm going to go see Jake Horowitz, who's the brilliant writer, director of Who You Know, has a new film that I'm really hoping he can get off the ground because it would be really fun. And we're going to go have a big Irish fry-up breakfast at a local diner here. So until we geek again, sweaty or not, here I come. Cheerio!